Alright, welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we're gonna do Dragon's Dogma 2 review of a new vocation that's added, the Trickster. Let me say that again. The Trickster vocation, brand new to Dragon's Dogma, and this vocation is pretty interesting. I've never. Well, it's you'll see in the video. Again, shout out to IGN for giving us the footage and breakdown of this class that is going to be in the game. And it's an interesting play style for those who are more of the, let's say, clever side of gameplay, who like clever gameplay as opposed to, just slaughter and mayhem and whatnot. But you'll see in the trailer, so let's check it out.
Dragon's Dogma 2 offers a wide variety of playstyles depending on what vocation you select. Most of these are the kinds of archetypes that you'd expect: melee sword fighter, speedy dagger wielding thief, ranged archer, and spell slinging mage.
Wait. What was that? Did you see that? This. What is... I've never seen anything that large in Dragon's Dogma. It must be like some Colossus type monster, almost similar to Dragon's Dogma. Like that's, I think they kind of showed what you have to do to fight it. Just hit it in that the center area right there in his back. So I think we already know how to take this thing down. But that thing, that is crazy. That is crazy.
And spell slinging mage. And some are hybrid vocations like Mystic Spearhand and Magic Archer that combine elements of one vocation with another.
Mystic Spearhand is something I definitely want to explore when I get a chance.
Dragon's Dogma 2 showcase back in November, but little has been shown of this unique class beyond that quick 45-second look and a short description on the Dragon's Dogma 2 website. Fortunately, as part of our visit to Capcom, we got to sit down and play with the Trickster for about an hour.
The world looks pretty huge too.
This is a style of gameplay unlike
the world looks very vast,
open world action game.
And I hope that it's as vast as it looks in the previews that we've been seeing.
The Trickster is essentially a pacifist. Their chosen weapon, a ceremonial censer, does little to no damage when it's swung at an enemy. Instead, the purpose of attacking is to build up aggro and pull an enemy's attention towards you. To that end, you also have a special ability called Suffocating Shroud that sends out your smoke in a wide area and draws a large amount of enemy attention towards you. So, the question is, why would you want to get a whole group of enemies swarming on you if you can't actually damage them? See, that's where the word Trickster comes into play. By using Trickster's unique skill,
it seems like monsters can lock in pretty good too.
Simulacra, or a clone, for simplicity.
I see they have that leaping ability. It just locks right onto you.
Has its own health bar and will disappear
just from this character's,
teleport the clone to you while it's
unique ability.
This way, you can basically kite enemies to wherever you want, as long as you keep their aggro and keep your clone alive. So, you can maneuver a foe to get an environmental advantage, which is super important because the Trickster shines the brightest when there are cliffs, uneven surfaces, or other elements of the environment that can be used to your advantage. The Trickster has two abilities designed around creating surfaces that aren't really there, but appear real to enemies. The first, Tricky Terrace,
it's pretty unique.
That can be placed off a ledge.
It's a pretty unique gameplay.
That's real solid ground. And the second, Elusive Divider, will create a wall of smoke that you can see through, but the enemy cannot. The final piece of this puzzle is the Visitant Aura, a technique that essentially allows you to make an astral projection that you can freely move around to scout the landscape for as long as your stamina will allow. You're super vulnerable while controlling the projection, so using Elusive Divider to give yourself some cover while using it in the heat of battle is a good idea. Crucially, you can float off ledges, ascend or descend at will, and even call your clone to wherever your projection currently is. I'm sure you can probably see why.
Now, let's see if the thing goes away. Nah, but in the bottom,
that might be useful.
In the bottom, the health bar is pretty large and the stamina bar. So I don't know if that's
Use
if it
visiting aura to
actually
scout out
is
areas for
that
enemies and look for any sort of
much
environmental
health,
hazards, like a cliff, for instance.
or if it's
Breed all your
just
clones so that it hovers over said
if
environmental
it's
hazard.
if it's
Place
going to
false
be
doors
like
underneath it
in
with
Dragon's
terrace,
Dogma
then lure enemies
1,
close to the clone and use suffocating shroud to send all
where
your aggro towards the clone, and then watch with glee as
you know you need
enemies
to,
throw themselves off the
until you
ledge
get like
and
late
have
game,
to
like
get
a
it.
high enough level. Until you get to a high enough level, you won't have a lot of stamina really. So this vocation might be
Now,
a late game
this
play,
is a lot of prep to go through, and it isn't
because you
gonna be
can switch
practical in every
vocations, I
single
hope,
situation, which is why
as
the
you
Trickster is
play,
also equipped with some other tricks up
because
their sleeves. First
making
and
your
foremost,
builds
they are a
through
support box.
augments,
You're
each
relying on
class
and
has
substantially
specific
buffing the strength of your
augments
pawn party
that
so
will
they
be
can do most of
good
the heavy lifting. One
for
such
your
buff
build
is aromatic
going into
resurgence,
late game
which
and end game.
supercharges your party, making them hit a lot harder.
So this looks
While
like
I was
an
playing
end
for
game
gameplay
type
capture
of
reasons, I had to make
play
a mental note
style,
not to use this buff
end
because my
game
pawns would kill all my
vocation.
foes
Just
before I got a chance
just
to
because I
develop
think you would need a
any
lot of
technical
stamina
traits
to
of
in order
vocation.
to
The most powerful
pull
spell I
off
saw of the Tricksters
what
was Dragon's
everything
Delusion, which
what the
takes some
Trickster
time to
does. I
cast,
think you
but
need a
brings
lot
forth
of
an
stamina.
illusion of a dragon that terrifies any enemy that sees it, even large ogres, bringing them down to their knees, giving your pawns ample opportunity to do big damage. Since most of the Trickster's other skills seemed well suited for dealing with small to mid-sized enemies, this was a really nice addition to see as something that could also let them deal with the bigger and badder enemies.
Yeah, that's what I'm
The
curious
Trickster
too.
was
Like,
not an easy vocation to
how
figure out
how
just
often
at the
can you
time.
get that
It took
off
me a little while to fully grasp
on
the
like
aggro system, avoiding
more
pulling too
powerful
much aggro
bosses?
and not having a way to
How
get
often
away
will
from
you
the
be able
enemies
to
just
do that
attracted, but once it clicked,
or do
I
this?
found it to be a uniquely satisfying vocation that brought to
Most
mind
of
one of
the
core tenets of Devil May Cry's combat.
maybe
It's
some of the
not
field
just about
monsters you could
killing
probably
every
trick them
enemy in the
into
room,
jumping
but
off a
how
cliff,
you kill every enemy
but
in
I
the
don't
room.
think
It's
you're gonna be able to
intentionally
pull
a
that
well-thought
off.
vocation that's designed
Like,
to encourage creative thinking,
eventually,
to solve difficult
I would
combat
see
problems in
certain
ways
monsters
beyond just using a
learning the
weapon or hurling a
tactics.
tornado at it.
So
And
how
it's one that I'm
often
very
would
excited to
Trickster
experiment
play
more with once I've got my
be
hands
good?
on
Would
the
it
game.
carry over
Thanks
into
for
end
watching,
game?
and this is just the beginning of our IGN first coverage of
If
Dragon's
they have a
Dogma
bitter
2.
black isle
In
type
case you
of,
missed it, make sure to check out our 18 minutes of gameplay
you know,
covering 4 of the vocations, and for everything else, give it a ear on IGN.
if they have a bitter black isle type of, you know, end game going on or whatnot, like how would that work with the Trickster? Simple fact that they're not just gonna let you smoke a boss, certain bosses, just by, you know, tricking them that, oh, here, I'm on this magical rock, come get me, and they just jump off and go after you. I know it'll work on some, but I don't see them doing all this work on these enemies just for a Trickster to just, you know, fool them into just going somewhere. You know what I mean? The buffs are going to be great for pawns. So if you deck out your pawns and just let them, you know, go at the enemies and all that's going to be good. But, you know, I just wonder how effective it's going to be. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to find out or figure out a play style in game that's going to probably be overpowered or something with the Trickster or something like that. But I don't know. It's an interesting vocation where you're not doing any offense. You're just buffing and, you know, drawing aggro and whatnot. So your pawns can essentially just do all the work for you. So you can just overpower your pawns. They can do all the work, and, you know, you just stay alive basically. But, you know, if you draw too much aggro, then, you know, how are they going to get the aggro off you and such and such? Is it a skill to, you know, take the aggro off you? You know, like, I'm curious. It's pretty interesting vocation, you know, but that's it. That's what's coming. Dragon's Dogma, the Trickster play style, Trickster vocation. So we're going to be getting ready for that, which is going to be pretty good. I probably won't be using this vocation until late game, but let me know what you think in the comments. You think the Trickster vocation is going to be good? If it's going to be bad? If it's going to be interesting? Does it pique your interest as a playstyle you would try out? Or do you think it's just a waste of time? It's going to be the weakest vocation in the game, and they should just trash it. But as always, I'd like to thank you for joining me on another video. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming soon. We wrapped up our Dragon's Dogma 1 playthrough. It was fun. Good memories, you know. Bringing back Dragon's Dogma. I had fun. And yeah, we got through Bitter Black Isle, got through the main game, and now we're just waiting on this bad boy to drop so we can have fun for the rest of the year. But tune into the next videos. I'd like to thank you for watching. Do the proper thing. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.